What is up, and welcome to this live edition of Couz's Corner here on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining, whether you're watching on YouTube at Couz's Corner or whether you're watching on the WV Sports Chat Facebook page, which is a creation of myself and my partner, my Golden Blue Breakdown partner, Jonathan Martin. Thank you for joining the show. Wherever you're joining, please leave comments. Please participate in the conversation. I appreciate you joining us. We've got a jam-packed show tonight. We're going to take some voicemails from some callers I'm going to address, some very good calls that we got. We're also going to have a very special guest joining us tonight in about 30 minutes, about 8:30. Josh Witt from the Unreasonable Doubt podcast is going to come on, and we're going to talk a little bit of West Virginia hoops. And we are going to give away two pair of tickets to this weekend's game between West Virginia and TCU. So, and by the way, that is courtesy of, in partnership with, the Mountain Buck YouTube channel. I recommend you go subscribe to the Mountain. If you're into hunting, this is your time of year, and you need to hear what he has to say. He has a hunting channel, has a lot of great content over there, so go check it out. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to go ahead and start off the show talking or diving into a few voicemails that I have from listeners and followers. And by the way, if you're listening to this on podcast, I will read the number out that you can call. I recommend you follow us over at Couz's Corner on your favorite audio platform. Please give us a 5-star review if you like the show. But you can give us a call at 304-712-9347 after the show. Leave your name and where you're from. Leave us a voicemail, and we will try our best to address that on a show. We can't address all the calls, but we will get the best ones, the ones that also come in clearly that we can understand easily. And obviously, if you are a paid VIP member here on the channel, you will get first dibs on your calls. Again, 304-712-9347. Leave your name and where you're calling from. Let's go ahead and dive into some of these phone calls. And also, reminder, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to make sure your comment gets addressed during the show while you're in the chat, you can drop a super chat. Hit a $sign near the chat box that highlights the comment, and it's an easy way to support the show and help me keep the lights on. What's up, Daniel Gigax, WVU Fan 13, Bourbon Crazy, Raven, Forever Nothing, and who else did I miss here? I missed somebody. Oh, Viper Strike and Browns and Beers. Thank you all for joining us. Let's go ahead and dive into these calls. I think you're going to like these.
Hey, Couz. Hope everything's going all right with you. Just that game on Saturday, it was tough to watch.
By the way, this is Browns and Beers, who's actually in the chat. This is his reaction to the UCF game this past Saturday.
I think I briefly told you when you came out and hung out with me a bit in the blue lot there that I was thinking of going to this game. And, man, I'm glad that I just kind of got that feeling in my stomach of just the road games this year are just going to be rough. I mean, I hate to say that that's the kind of game where you just do look at it and you say you second guess a lot of what this tenure under Rich Rod, 2.0 is going to be. But, I mean, you listen to all the shows. You listen to three guys. You listen to you talking to the guy from Sons of UCF. And, I mean, once again, these two teams are very much similar. Bring back a coach who's previously there the season before. Fair amount of the roster's transfers. They're in your conference. They were also 0-3 in conference play going into the game. And the ultimate kicker being that you, before this game, were undefeated against them all time. And you're somehow, at the same time, 32 points worse than them. It was a very disappointing game to watch overall. Morale is understandably very low around this team, I think, for the rest of the season. I was about to say, Couz, it's been a tough one, and I hate to say that. I mean, I'm just saying there are just warning signs for me year one that once again, year 1, year 0, whatever you want to call it, I understood we never thought it was going to be easy. But to be 32 points worse than a team that had a lot of the same factors going against them that you did, it's where I got to start to second guess some things. Now, granted, I'm not going to be one of these people who's going to be unreasonable saying, 7 games into a tenure to get rid of a guy. I'll give him, 3, 4 years to do what he can, at the very least. I think that's fair. But, I'm just saying, Couz, that was not the standard that W football. That's not, the W football that I'm used to watching. I don't think it's the W football all of us are used to watching. If you absolutely got to play Scotty Fox, I was about to say I heard late in the game that Khalil was unfortunately on some crutches, then that's the guy you got to go with. That's the guy you got to go with. Hey, Couz, hope everything's going all right with you. Just
You all please let me know. Thank you, Wet Blanket. I didn't realize I was muted. You all let me know. Can you hear the callers? Make sure you can hear the callers. I can hear them, but I want to make sure you can hear them, because if you can't, then I'm wasting my time. And I apologize for talking on mute for like a minute. Anyway, Browns and Bears was obviously reacting to the game that if I'm not mistaken, he went to the game, and he's a very loyal fan, goes to most of the away games, all the home games, and he's like the rest of us. We don't feel like West Virginia should be 32 points worse than UCF, a team who has a similar situation, returning coach, over 70 new players. They shouldn't be that much better. Now, I will give West Virginia a little bit of wiggle room because of all the injuries. UCF has some injuries, but nowhere near the amount West Virginia does. But it shouldn't be 32 points worth. It shouldn't be a 32-point difference. So I totally agree with Browns and Beers. This is the one game where I was kind of holding out before I passed any judgment on this year's team. Once I saw how bad they played against UCF, I'm like, okay, this season's a wash. Now it's time to start. You still got to try to win, but you also need to do that while trying to prepare for next year as well. So I totally agree with you, Browns and Beers, and thank you for the call. Now, this next call is very interesting. I think you'll like it. Now, one of the callers, the reason for the thumbnail, by the way, of showing Rich Rod yelling is due to one of these callers that I'm going to address here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and get to caller number 2.
Hey, Couz, David Delaney from Parkersburg. I'm curious. They had 5 quarterbacks to start the year. They're down to 1. Now, what if something happens to Scotty this next game? Do they have any other players on the team that could be a quarterback? Just my question. Thank you, sir. You have a great show. Thank you. Bye. Hey.
Thank you, David from Parkersburg, and that's Parkersburg, West Virginia. Question, obviously, what happened? What if something happens to Scotty Fox? Well, they have a couple walk-ons named Scotty Keene, who's actually a senior, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have Max Anderson, who's also a walk-on quarterback on this roster. I'm assuming one or both of those guys will be next in line. And Rich Rod did say at one point in his press conference that Khalil might be available in emergency situations, but he would only play him if he had to. Now, there are 2 players on West Virginia's offense who did play quarterback in high school, one being Cam Vaughn, which I saw Raven mention in the comments. Thank you, Raven. And the other one being Rodney Gallagher. Both of them played high school quarterback. And I think there are even other players on West Virginia's roster that played quarterback in high school, but those are the 2 that come to mind. I even put a tweet out earlier, or a post on X, whatever it's called nowadays, that I think they should actually run a few. I'm not saying do this the whole game, but I would like to see them run a few plays with Cam Vaughn in the Wildcat formation, and even let him throw it a time or two out of that formation, assuming he's able to do that. We saw them try that last week on a reverse pass. Did not go quite well, but at least it didn't get intercepted, right? It almost did, but they dropped it. But if he's able to do that, if you trust him to do that, then throw him in a Wildcat. They've had trouble getting the ball in Cam Vaughn's hands. That's the way you do it. You snap it to him. Now, I know it's a risk with the struggles of the offensive line have had, but man, you've got to try something different to try to generate some offense here. And if you get the ball in Cam Vaughn's hands where he can run it or throw it and use his athleticism, I think that's something you need to try at least. And I don't want to do it the whole game. I think that would be a mistake, but I think you should run it out there, for a few, try it 1 or 2 times, see how it goes. And if you feel like it's working, then maybe you go back to it again later. But I do think it's something they should at least try. But to reiterate, they do have a couple walk-on quarterbacks that could play if Scotty gets hurt, Scotty Keene and Max Anderson. Next caller, I think this is the one that really, and by the way, before we get to the next caller, there was a caller named Chris from Charleston. Chris from Charleston, if you're listening, I am actually planning, hopefully, if I have time to do a separate show on your call. I thought your call was something I could actually pull out and make a whole show on. So I'm hoping to do that. Actually, I could do that on a few of these, but that one was just something that piqued my interest. So, Chris from Charleston, if you're listening, I do hope to address your call, but I plan on doing it in another show. But here is the one that really, I guess, sparked my idea for the thumbnail. Is this next call?
Yeah, Couz, I probably need to subscribe. I watch bits and pieces here and there and really like you. I was all pumped for Rich Rod to come back. I guess I'm disappointed like everyone else, and my question is Rich Rod's style of football going to work in this day and age? I watched him crawl an offensive lineman that called for a penalty in the last game. I thought the penalty was terrible. I thought the block was fabulous. And if anyone called out the player, I thought it should have been the offensive coordinator on national TV. I don't like his attitude, and I'm not sure it's going to work in this day and age. And screaming and hollering never worked with anybody. Anyway, that's my question and concern. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike Colley from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, originally from Gary, West Virginia. Great question, Mike, and I do understand your concern. I'm of the opinion that I do think Rich Rod's style of coaching will work nowadays, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. Number one, I do think there are some young people who cannot handle that style of coaching, and I think Rich Rod would acknowledge that as well. However, I also think there are some who can and who will actually like that style of coaching because it pushes them to be better. And I do think he has the ability to bring out more in a young player than what some coaches may be able to. He can push you past your limits. Now, in today's world of the athletes being paid, will it be harder to find players who can handle that style of coaching? Probably so. They probably have to be more selective and more careful what players they take out of the transfer portal. But I'd still think there are enough good players out there who want to be coached hard, who don't mind to get yelled at, who don't mind to get cursed at. You just got to find the right guys. Nick Saban, was a hard-nosed coach. I think there are a lot of those coaches still out there. And, Kirby Smart comes to mind at Georgia. I see him yell and scream at players all the time. Georgia's won a couple national titles. So I do think that style of coaching will work if you have the right players. You have to have players who can take it and who are thick-skinned enough to take it. That's number one. Number two is He did it at Jacksonville State last year, and I know it's a different level, but it's still the same generation of players he's coaching, and they responded to it. He succeeded there for 3 years using that same style of coaching. So I think that's proof that it will work in today's game. Now, difference being the Power 4 level, the players are making a lot more money than they were making at Jacksonville State. At least in most cases. I understand that. But most of those guys want to make it to the NFL. And if you're going to make it to the NFL, you have to be able to take hard coaching. And I'm just a firm believer that kind of coaching will work. You just have to have the right guys. Now, I could be proven wrong. And I'll admit if I'm proven wrong, but I do think that it can be done. Now, as far as your comment about the offensive coordinator, Rich Rod actually doesn't technically have an offensive coordinator because he calls his own plays. They have a lead offensive assistant in Travis Trickett, but he doesn't call plays or anything. He's just he's just the assistant that kind of goes around and helps whatever position needs help at the time, kind of oversees the whole thing, but he's not a coordinator. So, your point stands. I guess you meant just another coach besides him. To me, I don't know that it makes a difference what coach it is, right? Whether it's your head coach or another coach, you're still getting yelled at. But, I personally, when I used to play, I actually played better when I got yelled at because it struck the fire in me. You know what I mean? Struck a nerve. It made me mad. It made me want to go out and hit somebody cleanly, obviously. But yeah, I want to go out and hit somebody. Take my anger and my frustration out on the other team. Sometimes it helps do that as well. So I don't have an issue with his coaching style, but I do respect and understand those who don't think it will work. So we'll see. Got to address his super chat. Very generous super chat by the Tomorrowland Traveler. Tomorrowland Traveler, thank you so much for the generosity. Man, I have to give you an ovation for that. Thank you very much for the generosity. That is so awesome. Says, thanks for streaming. Just subbed to the channel. Thank you, Tomorrowland Traveler. And I don't know if you are a hunter or not, but I'm going to ask that you please also go subscribe to a YouTube channel called Mountain Buck. They are the channel who partnered with me to give away some tickets to this weekend's game between TCU and WVU. If you're a hunter or you enjoy outdoor stuff, you might want to enjoy his channel. Go sub it up. It's called Mountain Buck. But thank you again, Tomorrowland Traveler, for the subscription. For the super chat and for the subscription. All righty. We have one more call I want to address, and this one kind of ties in to Mike Colley's call. By the way, Mike Colley, thank you for the call. I really appreciate you calling. Hopefully you were able to hear this and hear my answer. Viper Strike says, if a kid can't play because he's being yelled at, how on God's earth is he man enough to play football? This is not badminton or ping pong. This country is full of weak men. It's sick. And that's my point. Yeah, there are some weak men out there that don't want to be yelled at. But and I know a lot of people talk about the younger generation, but I'm telling you, as someone who has coached younger kids, there are still a lot of tough, thick-skinned, coachable young men and women out there today. Okay. The entire generation is not ruined. The entire generation is not weak. Are there a lot of them that are? Yes. But there are also a lot who are not. And I think those are the type of young men that Rich Rod wants at WVU. All right. I will get to some of these comments from VIP members here in a minute, but let me go ahead and get this last caller of the night. His name's Andrew. He called the channel before, but I have since deleted his previous voice message, so I don't know where he's from. But his name's Andrew. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, Couz, this is Andrew again. Having a beer or
2.5 minutes.
And I just figured, I wonder what Mountaineer Nation thinks about Kansas game and the state of Mountaineer football. And my thoughts are, like I said after the Pitt game, we could end up having a losing season and not making a bowl game, but I still feel the program is in a good spot. And I know that's crazy to say after a disgusting loss.
And by the way, this call was he actually called in after the Kansas game. This is the first one of these call-in shows I've done since the Kansas game, but it still applies today. That's why I'm still playing it. Okay, I wanted to put some context around it.
Against Kansas, the offensive line looks terrible. Who's quarterback? None of them looks good. I think we're okay. And I think that Pitt game showed you a glimpse of what this team could be. A team that fights, a team that, and maybe I shouldn't say a team, a program where you can expect fight and determination. It's year one, it's 80 new players. And it sounds like an excuse, and I get it, but I just really believe that this program, I know, and it's going to be ugly again. It's a taste of medicine, but, we're coming off of Neil Brown. God bless his heart, he was a nice guy, but he was not a good coach. He couldn't push the players, and it was the same bland stuff. Where now we got a coach that pushes them, and I think gets the most out of the guys. And, he's figuring it out. And I just hope everyone, and it sucks. It feels like a big, fat pill that we have to swallow this year. But I've got hope that this is all going to mean something. And a year from now, and probably 2 years from now, we're going to be a winning football team. Because if you look at Rich Rod, his history, you look at all the seasons, year one for West Virginia back in his first stint. It was a tough year. Year one at Michigan, tough year. Year one at Arizona, tough year. But by year two, definitely year three, they're playing winning ball. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, and people kind of expect, well, with NIL and transfer portal, hey, we gotta win now. We gotta win now. Just look at Nebraska. Matt Rule's got a great program, and it took him a while. It took him a couple years. It's going to be okay. I got faith in the Mountaineers. I got faith in Rich Rod. This team can fight, or this program will put out teams that fight, and I think that Pitt game gave us glimpses of what it ultimately will be. Much love. Top shelf. Having this beer for you. Let's go Mountaineers.
Thank you for the call, Andrew. And I thought that was a great tie-on or bolt-on to the last caller, Mr. Mike, who thought maybe Rich Rod's style of coaching maybe outdated or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. Andrew, I think, disagrees with Mike. Now, I would be interested to get Andrew's comments. Again, this call came in after the Kansas game. Does he still feel the same after the team's lost 3 more in blowout fashion? I think he would, based on his comments, but he feels like Rich Rod will get more out of his players down the road. Now, that wasn't the case this past week against UCF, and he even admitted it. But you know what he's going to do? He's going to go out and try to get guys who will buy into his system, buy into his style of coaching, buy into the hard edge culture he's trying to build in Morgantown. All right. Next up on the docket, we have some tickets to give away. And thankfully, we have a special guest coming on the show that's going to help us do that. What's up? Mountain Buck, what's up, man?
Couz, what's going on, man? Good to be with you tonight. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We've already got at least one person I know that is said they were going to come sub to your channel, so hopefully you'll get a few more subs out of this.
Yeah, definitely did. I appreciate it. Good to work with you. I've been subscribed to your channel for a while now, so nice to work together. Yep. Give some tickets away.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mountain Buck has offered to give away a pair of tickets to this weekend's TCU West Virginia game. And then I'm not going to be able to make it either. So I've decided to go ahead and up the ante and give away a second pair of tickets. And we've got some names. The rules were, just to lay them out for everybody who might be unaware of what's going on here. I put out a video with the rules. You had to be subscribed to my channel. You had to be subscribed to Mountain Buck's channel. And you had to comment under that specific video, which was about a 2.5 minute short that I did. If you did all 3 of those things, you would be qualified for the drawing. Now, once I draw the winners, you will email me and prove to me that you are who you say you are, that the username is you. Once you do that, we will see that the tickets get transferred to you. Mountain Buck, real quick, though, man, before we get to this, educate the fine folks out there and let them know what you do over there at your channel and where else they can find you, whether on social media or whatever.
Yeah, first I just want to say congratulations to Couz. You're just about at 10,000 subscribers, which is super exciting. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Couz's Corner, definitely want to do that. A lot of good content he puts out. He works really hard. A lot of good stuff he puts out, multiple episodes a week, which is a big time commitment. I know personally it's a lot of work. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to his channel. That's the most important, and tell your friends as well. A lot of WVU fans out there. So for me, I do hunting product reviews. I'm big into hunting. I live in Pennsylvania. My wife's from West Virginia area, so she went to WVU. So we get down there to some games, and I'm a big, I adopted the Mountaineers as a fan. But I do a lot of hunting product reviews. And I'm sure there's some crossover between Couz's Corner subscribers and some of my folks. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there get out there in the woods, and it's prime time hunting season right now. So
absolutely,
you to come over and check out my stuff if possible.
Yep. All right. Thank you, and thank you for partnering with me here as well, man. I really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and give away some tickets. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to do a quick screen share here. And then that way we can see what's going on. I'm going to enlarge it. There we go. Now we have all the names on the wheel and over on the right-hand side of all the entries. Let me hide that. There we go. All right. Let's do it. Spin number one, the first set of tickets presented by Mountain Buck goes to Jake T304. Jake T304, congratulations for winning a pair of tickets to see TCU in West Virginia this Saturday. Make sure you email me at couz.walker@gmail.com. Again, it's Couz, COUZ.walker, WALKER @gmail. Make sure to let me know, prove to me that you are Jake T. Let us know where, how he can transfer the tickets to you. I'll get the information over to Mountain Buck, and he will take care of getting you your tickets. Jake T304, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. All right, let's give away set number 2. The guy right below him, Gamecock Chuck. Gamecock Chuck. South Carolina Gamecock. Go check his channel out. He has his own channel. Go check it out. Covers South Carolina Gamecock content over there. Gamecock Chuck, congratulations. I know your wife is also a West Virginia fan. So congratulations to you, and hopefully you can get your beautiful bride to a game this Saturday, man. Thank you so much for being a supporter here on the channel. And email me, and I will get you some tickets transferred. So Gamecock Chuck and Jake T304 are our winners of the 2 sets of 2 pair of tickets for this weekend. So Mountain Buck, thank you again for joining us for that, and thank you for being a part of it. And I will let you know once Jake T reaches out to me. I'll get the information over to you so you can get him transfer those tickets over to him.
Sounds good, Couz. Thanks so much, and I appreciate you helping me out here, and have a great night.
Absolutely. Everybody go subscribe to Mountain Buck on YouTube. Go check him out. All right. We have another very special guest coming on in just a minute. But before we bring him on, I do have to give a quick shout out to our channel sponsor here. So bear with me for about a minute and a half. We'll be right back. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code COUZ. That's code COUZ to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer. All right. Thank you for being patient, letting me pay the bills. Now let's bring on a very special guest. Let's talk some West Virginia Mountaineer hoops. Josh Witt from the Unreasonable Doubt podcast. What's up, brother?
Hey, Couz. Thanks for the invite, man. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. How you been? It's been a while.
Hey, man, it's been a while. You're overdue to be on Unreasonable Doubt, a podcast about West Virginia University basketball. But we're here, man. I mean, we've got an exhibition that's public this weekend, and then at the week after, we're right into the season. It's already here.
Man, can you believe it?
No.
How fast time is it is unreal, man. Unreal.
And think of the path from March, how miserable March was to now. I talked about it on my last episode, like from the worst to, and everybody gets hyped in the preseason, but my excitement level, I didn't think I'd be here in March. And now we're here, and I'm excited about this coach. I'm excited about this team. I don't know how well they're going to do, but I'm excited to watch them.
Yep, me too, man. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and get your thoughts on the hire of Ross Hodge initially. What were your thoughts initially? Did you like it? And then have you shifted at all?
No shift. I would say, what did we know about Ross Hodge besides his tie to North Texas and the orbit of Ren Baker? I didn't know anything about him. That wasn't watching North Texas basketball. Remember them coming to the Coliseum when McCaslin was there and was familiar with how they played, which was really slow, but very tough. And so to find out this guy likes to play slow and likes to play tough defense, and McCaslin thinks the world of him, then that's a good start because McCaslin's really good at coaching basketball. So I haven't wavered there, and I think he is coming across to the fan base as there's some coach speak, but there's some genuine excitement to be here, it seems like. And what he's put together and bringing guys from North Texas with him, one guy who went to check his NBA draft stock, like that's exciting. And then the guys we have coming in and what we heard from what happened in the closed door scrimmage, that's all excitement. But to Ross Hodge, didn't know anything until he got hired. Watched the NIT, the couple of games, was impressed, and haven't wavered as far as it seems like a good hire, and McCaslin thinks the world of him. And let's get him for more than one season, Couz. I mean, I'm not projecting anything. It's just it's the fourth guy in 4 years. So let's regardless of how I feel about him, I'm already skipping to the end of the season. Let's have him stay. And let's see what a season 2 with a head basketball coach looks like. Really. It's been a while.
It's crazy because, and I've heard Tony Caridi talk about this a lot. West Virginia had 3 basketball coaches in 30 years or something. I'm using
more than that because think 40, about it. Catlett,
how long was Catlett there?
Close to 20, I think. Like he started late 70s, early 80s.
So you're looking at 4 to 5 decades, basically.
Super stable.
And had 3 coaches.
That's right.
And we're now on our 4th in 4 years.
Yeah, it's amazing how that can turn. And so I'm ready for a little more stability. Maybe not that stability. That might be a long shot in this era, but
exactly.
More than one. Not only we're changing the roster, Couz, we're changing the coach every year. Let's get some stability.
Exactly. And it'll be a lot easier to build that roster when you get that stability.
Sure.
I was at a coach's caravan event back in the spring that he came to, and he had a great. This is how small the world is, and we always hear there's always a West Virginia connection, right? You always hear Tony and the guys talk about that. Ross Hodge, there was actually someone at that event in southern West Virginia that lived in the same neighborhood as Ross Hodge in Texas, Dallas, Texas
No
area.
kidding. Wow.
That yeah, and Ross told a story about how he said, I'd walk the big dog with the dog, and everybody had their Baylor, their TCU, their UT, their whatever flags and stuff. And he said, I walked by, and I don't remember the gentleman's name. He may even be watching. I don't know. I don't remember his name, but he said, and here he would be out in the yard with his West Virginia shirt on, with the flying WV, playing cornhole with his West Virginia cornhole boards. Like he said, he was golden blue through and through, man. So he got a little bit of a taste of how passionate the fan base is through that guy, which was his neighbor, and he knew him and thought the world of him. So I just thought that was a really cool story. So he kind of already knew somebody that had ties there.
That's
but
amazing.
He brought over Brendan Lorient and he brought over Jasper Floyd. I'm really high on both of those guys. A lot of fans aren't as high on Floyd as I am, but when I watched his tape and I watched, a little bit, a small sample size, I get it. But man, I really like the way he plays the point guard position. What are your thoughts on those two guys specifically?
Well, let's start with Floyd. I think he's going to be the starting point guard. And I think you go from the closed door scrimmage. I believe it was reported 9 points, 11 assists, and he played a ton because Amir Jenkins didn't play. And he seems like a facilitator offensively, looking to get to the rim and kick. And then he describes himself as a defensive first point guard. So with this no middle defense, he'll be the front of that and getting steals and kind of setting the tone for their defensive possessions. So seems collected in that, all we've got is a 90-second clip from the closed door scrimmage.
Right.
And there's 6 assists in those 90 seconds from Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not complicated stuff. He's either passing it around the perimeter or getting to the paint and dishing. So that's a great thing. We haven't seen like a KJ Tenner was that as a backup as far as facilitator, but I think Floyd's going to play that role. I think he's going to play a ton of minutes. And then Lorient is the guy with tons of potential. Again, going to the highlight film, a block, a dunk, a three. Seems like he can do everything and really likes the ball in his hands and likes to create. Not a post-up guy, but catch it from 15 feet and create. He's never started a game, Couz, in his college career. So he will start, I think, at the Mount St. Mary's opener. That'll be his first start. So the little kind of, are you a starter or are you more comfortable in the backup role? I think he's ready for this. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see a true 4 in Lorient play with a true 5 in Obioha. I'm excited for both. It's 0 turnover or 0 returning for WVU, but technically Ross Hodge is thinking, I've got 2 guys who's been in my system and coming in.
Correct.
And that's great. And they're 2 starters and they're going to be stable presences on the team.
And they'll be able to help the other guys understand what he wants, what he expects, how to play his offense, how to play his defense.
Right.
And the personality. I mean, both of those guys have been in front of the media. They both seem like top-notch human beings. They both seem like they get it, I think it's awesome, man. I really, and what has impressed me about Hodge is, and I've seen a lot of chatter on social media about, well, he's bringing in a bunch of mid-major whatever, but man, look at the pieces he's putting together. That's what's impressed me is he's going out. He's not just going out and getting the best players. He's getting, okay, I need this guy to do this. All right, to complement him, I need a guy over here to do this. Then I need a big man down low to do this. And by the way, he's been methodical about how he's building the roster. He's looking at not only what he needs on the court, but how they fit culturally, how they fit from a personality standpoint. And he had to do all of that pretty quick. Now, obviously, the proof will be in the pudding. I don't want to get too far down the road and get too excited here. I'm trying to guard against that because you never know what could happen. And the Big 12 is a gauntlet. But man, I really think this team is being underrated a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
How do you rate it though, Couz? Like
you can't.
It's so difficult. Some of these teams, like think of Houston. They're bringing back Uzan, they're bringing back Sharp, they're bringing back Tugler.
Yeah.
They recruit 5 stars, and so you can kind of get a sense of what they've got. Even a Kansas, who had a down year last season, they get top 5 freshmen. That's that's going to be all league probably and bring guys back with potential. And so you have an idea. I mean, we saw Lorient and I didn't see Lorient and Floyd, but they played at North Texas last year for Hodge. But like, how do you figure overrated, underrated? What I do like is, Honor Huffs from Chattanooga. He made the most threes in Division I basketball. Like that's, and when you see some of the clips of what he can do on the basketball court, and they won the NIT, you can't pigeonhole him and say Chattanooga guy, like low mid-major guy. Like you could do that, but he's only there because he's 5'10". Like he's super gifted on the basketball court. Eagle Staff, 3 years at North Dakota, not a basketball school, but you watch what he does against Alabama.
50.
You watch what,
Put a 50 piece on Alabama.
He went 40 and then 50 piece against South Dakota State.
I'm sorry, 40 again. Yeah.
But still, like that's
40, 50. I mean, I'll take either one. I'll take either one.
Neither one of us will do on a basketball court.
Negative.
That's right. But
my career high is 19, by the way.
And they were looking. Oh, fantastic! I got the double digits a couple of times. But like he could put 40 on top 10 Alabama. That's not a slouch team. So you've got pieces like that. Chance Moore. We seen Chance Moore on the Coliseum floor. Give us the business. They almost won that opening game in the season from where Josh Eilert's interim season. So like there's guys where you look at reputation. We got Morris from South Carolina, but not a ton of Power 5 prospects. But these guys are not like off the heap of like, oh, let's see if we can get this guy at a discount. Like it's I think it's impressive. And he talks about his method of how he's bringing guys in. We'll see what happens because a lot of these guys are 1 year and gone. But it will be to say it's just mid-major guys, unknown guys. Watch that closed door scrimmage highlight clip. That's all we have, and we'll see them on Sunday.
Yep.
I don't think they're projecting that. And what's more interesting, Couz, is that the coaches aren't treating them that way. They were picked what? 11th?
11th.
That's higher than the last coach's preseason.
Yep.
So
and I probably higher than I would have picked them if I said they're underrated. Underrated was probably the wrong word. I think they're not being talked about enough, I guess would be the right way to put it. But I mean, if I'm doing a poll and I see a team who's got an entirely new roster, I'm picking them near the bottom, like 14, 15, 16.
You don't know. It's not an indictment of the coach or the players. It's just I don't know.
It's a big question mark.
I know other teams and what they're bringing back. And then you get behind that. So that's fine, Couz. Like, would Ross Hodge like to sneak up on people this season and kind of overachieve? Because think about it. If they're picked 11th and they overachieve and they're, let's say they finish 8th or 9th, we saw that last season. That's a borderline NCAA tournament team. So that's a good year one. And that's just a projection. So we'll see what it looks like.
Let me back up a minute. Something we kind of casually skipped over that I meant to get to. Amir Jenkins did not play. Is there something going on with him that we don't know about? What are you hearing on that?
I mean, I'm hearing what the folk like Andrew Corbett at 24/7 Ear Sports and Trilly Donovan, those people. I think it's out of precaution. I think he was doing a TikTok dance, Couz, here recently. Didn't look like he was injured. So some of these guys precautionary. I mean, we do know about Jackson Fields and him coming off of surgery. So that's a known quantity of he's day by day, probably won't be in the rotation at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
So I don't know, but again, like he finds Amir Jenkins, gets him to reclassify, and we'll see what he looks like. I think he's going to play on Sunday. I hope I get to see him.
Yeah. And
we'll see what it looks like.
Yeah, And he's talked very highly of him in his press conferences about how, I mean, the kid's coming in, just should be a senior in high school when he's coming in and probably going to play significant minutes in the Big 12. That's pretty cool stuff, man.
Sure.
And the recruiting they're doing right now, they're going to have a 5-star on campus this weekend. I think they have another really good talented player on campus visiting as well. 3 or 4-star kid. So they're doing things, man. I like what they're doing in recruiting. Raven put a comment up there a minute ago. She, bless her heart, she was so upset last year because we didn't have enough bigs. He went out and got some bigs, okay? And the very first commit he got for 2026, or at least his first or second commit, was a big. So he's taking care of that. What are your thoughts on Harlan Obioha, the 7-footer that Hodge brought in?
Well, he reminds me of Jimmy Bell as far as the profile, right? As
Yep.
far as Jimmy Bell, St. Louis, went to junior college and then loses a ton of weight. I mean, you see those clips of Jimmy Bell at St. Louis. It's just a body transformation. And it seems like it's the same with Obioha. True 7-footer. Can you name the last listed 7-footer for WVU basketball? How far you got to go back?
I know you can because I think you put it on Twitter not long ago, didn't you?
I sure did. You got to go back to see, I shouldn't cue that up if I don't remember it, but he played for Beeline and Huggins.
Yeah.
What's my man's name?
I'll pull it up while you're talking.
That's
I'll
terrible
try to
that
anyway.
but it's been a while. Like, we're going back to a Beeline recruit. So 7-footer, lost a ton of weight, wants to play at 270. I don't think he's going to be asked to score a bunch. He's going to be setting screens, getting rebounds. He played at UNC Wilmington, who made the NCAA tournament last season. But again, it's like, this is a different dude as far as what you see just from a body standpoint compared to how he played last season. And I think that's important because last year he averaged 20 minutes a game. He's even talking about wanting to average 25 minutes a game. That's a big difference. And to have a 7-footer in for 25 minutes a game is a good thing to have. So I'm excited to see Obioha and what he can do this season.
Is it Jamie Smolligan? Was it Jamie Smolligan?
Yes.
Okay.
Smolligan. Yes. That's the guy. It's been that long. And like Rob Summers is like, it's just not a ton of 7-footers. Yeah. Like, they just grow them on trees at Purdue, but WVU is not really a thing. So excited to see a 7-footer in a Mountaineer uniform this season.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be cool stuff, man. I really like I said, he's one of the pieces, and he's, I think you mentioned it there. I was looking on my phone trying to find your tweet, so I might have not heard it, but the weight he's lost, he's coming in ready to go. He looked pretty, the clips the few seconds of what we saw from the scrimmage, man, he looked pretty good. His ability to pass out of the post. I think I've seen you put posts about that on Twitter as well. Just, again, yet to be determined once they get into Big 12 play. I love this. And what about the schedule, man? How this schedule lines up? The only thing that concerns me about it is that they have so many teams that are like 300 or worse in the RPI. They're going to have to win all of those games handily, and you better win most of your Power 4 non-con games too for your strength of schedule metric, but in your RPI. But man, you got Kansas at home, you got Pitt at home. They don't leave Morgantown until late November.
Yeah, they go to Charleston, South Carolina for the Charleston Classic.
Yeah.
So that's the first time they leave Morgantown. And they don't leave. I mean, they go to Charleston, West Virginia to play Wake Forest, and they go to Columbus.
Leave the state. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not taxing. And I like that part of the non-conference schedule, where the Big 12 schedule, you're going to Arizona, you're going to Texas, like you're putting the miles on to stay close to home. That's not a bad way to do it in the non-conference. So I like that. It's a first, the flip side of that, Couz, and you're right, they've got to win these games handily when they're playing Mercyhurst and Mississippi Valley State. They've got to double them up. You can't beat Mississippi Valley State by 12, and the computers are going to give that a big thumbs down. So, but there's tests within the quizzes is how I'm putting it, where these quizzes are your Mercyhurst and your Lafayette's and your Campbell's. And then you get Pittsburgh. Haven't beat Pittsburgh in a while. Then you go to the Charleston Classic against 3 good teams. You play Ohio State in Columbus. You go to Charleston and play Wake Forest. And then the beginning of the Big 12 schedule, you rip the Band-Aid off immediately. Like
Iowa State and Kansas aren't the first 2 games out of the gate.
At Iowa State, come back home for Cincinnati and Kansas.
Yeah.
And then you go to Houston. That's a tough 4-game stretch to start the Big 12 schedule. But after that, you don't have a stretch like that predicted what the teams are going
Right.
to look like. You don't have a stretch like that for the remaining schedule. And remember, Couz, we're dropping down to 18 conference games. So there is a week to kind of catch your breath in the middle of the Big 12 schedule, which they were not afforded last season.
No.
And kind of limped to the finish
Yeah,
line.
I thought
Everybody
that 20 game deal was a bad deal. In my opinion, I mean it's okay to try it, I guess, but I think it put all the Big 12 teams kind of in a disadvantage when they go into March. In my opinion.
Well, especially the Eastern teams and the Western teams that have more travel than your Oklahoma States and your Kansases and the teams in the Central Time Zone. When you don't get a week to catch your breath, this is like to get that day, those days off. That's a big deal when West Virginia travels like they do in this conference.
Yeah. I don't know if you get into a lot of predictions or whatnot. Do you predict anything? Are you a guy who does predictions?
I'm a predictor, but I don't have. Let me say this, Couz. I'm going to go see him on Sunday.
Okay.
I just want to see what they look like outside of a 90-second closed door scrimmage clip
Before you make
I make a prediction.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, same here. It's too early right now. The closed door scrimmage. Do you think that is there anything we can take away from that? Do you think?
Well, I mean, what Huff and Eagle staff made a combined 16 threes.
Mm-hmm.
Closed door, open door, roll the ball out, pick up. That's impressive to me. Like just points. Regardless of who they're playing, that's Honor Huff has scored 9 in a game that counted, or made 9 threes in a game that's counted. Mm-hmm. But like that's impressive. And so what you could say is, how good is Maryland in year one of Buzz Williams? They had some guys that didn't play. WVU had some guys that didn't play. It is a scrimmage, so it doesn't count. So you gotta like temper expectations. What I would say is that making 10 threes in any kind of game counts or doesn't count is impressive to me.
So right it is. Especially when you're 5'10".
Yes.
I think that makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, and he scored 95. So if that's in 40 minutes, you look at Ross Hodges' profile in his 2 seasons as head coach at North Texas. They didn't sniff 90 in those 40 games that he coached there. Mm-hmm. Like, didn't happen. Or what? No, more than 40. What, like 60 games or whatever? Mm-hmm. The most they scored in a game is 84. And in this closed-door scrimmage, they scored 95. It's just interesting. And on the flip side, they gave up 73, reportedly. So there's not a ton of games at North Texas where he gave up that many points. So it's an interesting.
That's true.
They play slow. Is that going to hold up? Is that a result we can look at and say, hey, is Hodge going to have to maybe mix it up a little bit, play faster, play more transition, and accept, more scoring defensively? Because Honor Huff is 5'10", not known for his defense. Eagle staff not known for his defense. So that'll be interesting. Is it going to be a Ross Hodge profile like the 2 seasons at North Texas? Or is it going to look different with what he has? Will this be a more offensive-minded team? I don't know that, but that's what I pull from the information from the closed door scrimmage.
Yeah, that's same here. And I was actually kind of surprised him being such a defensive first coach. I mean, everybody wants a great shooter, don't get me wrong. But I was actually surprised he got both of those guys because of the fact that of their defense. I mean, Eagle staff even admitted in an interview I saw him in that he said, I've never, that's something I got to work on. He admitted it. So I was actually surprised to see him bring both of those guys in together who both are not necessarily known for their defense. But what I think that tells us is he knows that they're willing to do it and they're willing to put in the work to do it. So I think from everything I've heard, they have been at practice. But again, it's, what do you take? Maryland had a guy out, I think, in my understanding. Of course, I didn't know that Mary Jenkins didn't play. So West Virginia had a guy out too. So I guess all's fair in love and war. But
yeah. But it's closed door scrimmage. So all I take from closed door scrimmage, or it used to be secret scrimmage, is did they get beat? If they get beat, then that kind of perks up your ears, like, ooh, because how many times do you remember WVU reportedly losing a secret scrimmage, or substantially? Like sometimes they may have lost, and it's like they look good out there. There's some good things to pull from it. We've never got a report they got killed in the secret scrimmage.
Right.
So that's something I'd be like, let's
Yeah.
brace ourselves for the upcoming season.
Yeah. By the way, we got 2 former Mountaineers playing at Cincinnati this year. What do you think about that? Sincere Harris and Kirk Risa, right?
Yes. Big Sincere Harris guy.
I
really enjoyed his one season.
Me too, man.
Hate that we're going to see him in a different uniform. And we haven't done very well with that outside of we got Sumnick last season when Oklahoma State came to town. But outside of that, like Jalen Bridges comes to town and he leaves with the win. So I'm I'm concerned because history has not fared very well for us with former Mountaineers coming to Morgantown.
Yeah,
so I don't like it.
Matthew in the chat pointed out something else. James Okonkwo's at Utah. I had forgotten about that. He actually went to Media Day, I believe, for them.
Yeah, so that's another guy that we'll see come to Morgantown who's a former Mountaineer. Doesn't that feel forever ago? Speaking of that, 4 seasons.
Oh, my gosh.
And 4 different coaches. Like Okonkwo, he went to Akron, North Carolina first, then Akron. Now he's at Utah. Yeah, it's wild. It really is
wild. Well, man, Josh, real quick, remind everybody where to find you and your work, man, and I'll let you get out of here.
Well, thanks again for the opportunity. Love talking WVU basketball.
Absolutely.
This is season 9 that I'll be covering in my laundry room, started in my basement pantry, on podcast, Unreasonable Doubt, the WVU basketball podcast. Find it wherever you listen to the podcast, and find work over at smokingmusket.com. So I'm under their umbrella, and definitely check out West by Pod, the football podcast that Joel and Jordan host. Good stuff happening over there. I'm a very small piece of it. Excited to be with that group. And excited to be with you tonight, Couz. Let's. What do you think's going to happen? What do you expect them to see on Sunday?
Obviously, it better be a blowout. But no, I just want to see a team that plays together, that plays hard, and I don't really have a whole lot of expectations, man. I'm just ready. The way football season's gone, I'm just ready for something different, man. Honestly.
How many more games of football, Couz?
5.
Oh, well, that's cool.
This is normally my favorite time of year because you got the 2 overlapping, and I still love it. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But man, having to talk about this football team every day is I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It wears on you after a while. You went through it. I'm sure you went through it 2 years ago with.
The interim season is the version of what you're seeing on the football side.
Which I was covering the team at that time too, but at the time the football team was actually pretty good that year. So it kind of offset it.
I mean, it started with suspension. There's suing the NCAA. There's a version of that happened with this football team.
That's a great
Poor a cook. He almost
oh gosh, yeah.
We lost him in the exhibition for a second. Like just crazy that team did not have a chance for reasons we saw and probably didn't see. That was brutal. And so, yes, I feel your pain, Mountaineer football fans. I experienced it 2 seasons ago. I experienced it concentrated a month in March this last year with all the crap that happened. Yeah. It's such an awesome season, and Javon Small being a revelation and so many cool things. And then just get the punch in the gut in Kansas City, and then the dominoes.
The only positive to that was it was very good for business. I ain't gonna lie to you. Coaching changes.
Good point. Yeah.
Coaching changes are great for business, but
selfishly, that's a good thing.
But as a fan, it's like, here we go again.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance those 2 things sometimes, man. Because I'm a fan first, and I want what's best for the programs. But I'll take the perks if it sends me a little bit of puts a little bit of cash in my pocket. I'll take it.
I understand that. It's not the first thing I think about. I don't start rubbing my hands when they're losing to Radford in December. It's
same.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Same here.
They lost to Monmouth. Oh, this will be good for the upcoming offseason.
I hate it. I hate it, man. I mean, that's like right now. I mean, I'm miserable. I mean,
dude.
From a football standpoint.
And I'll let you go. I mean, I'm a guest, so you can cut me off at any time. But like, is there any kind of history says Rodriguez is terrible in year 1 and he regroups? Is there any kind of perspective on the football side where you, like, if you're holding on to one thing, is this is not a new thing with him in year 1? It actually happened here in Morgantown. Or is it just a completely different thing? It's just a different era, different stuff,
I think it's
different
hard. I
challenges.
mean, I mean, you can look at that because he did struggle year one here. He struggled year one at Michigan. He didn't struggle year one at Arizona, actually,
Right.
and he didn't
Okay.
struggle in year one at Jacksonville State. But I think because the era is so different now, none of those eras, the Jacksonville State when he had to deal with NL in the portal, but it was from a different level, right? He had
Right.
guys leaving to go move up, and he was just having to refill his roster basically. Now he's having to retain guys and make sure they pay him enough and all this. So I think it's different, but so it's hard to me. It's hard to compare eras for
Yeah.
that reason.
Well, if
But
you hold on to that, because what are you holding on to
I'm
then?
holding on to the fact he when you look throughout his career, he's always been able, and when he has had tough seasons, he's always figured it out,
Yeah.
right?
Sure. Right.
And I think from everything I've heard about the guy, he has a phenomenal work ethic. He hates to lose. They say he hates to lose more than any man on the planet. I mean, he has a speed bag or a punching bag or something in his
Right.
house or his office or
Yeah.
whatever that he has to go hit after games before he goes and talks to the media because he's so angry.
Right.
So I mean, that makes me feel like he's going to do everything in his power to fix it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that gives me a little bit of comfort, and the fact that West Virginia's not exactly been in the best place financially either, at least from the football side. So, and I think that's getting fixed too. So that gives me some hope.
Okay. And when you say fix it, that makes me think of a basketball coach as well. That when it was bad, I'll
Yeah.
fix it. And he did until he didn't. But yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, well, I mean, we think he did. We don't really know for sure, but it looked like he did.
Yeah. Right.
It looked like he had it fixed, and I do think that would have been a really good season had it not went to hell in a handbasket. But
For sure.
anyway, all right, man. Josh, thank you, man, so much. Everybody go check out Unreasonable Doubt podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Check out the Smoking Musket. Josh, thanks again, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, Couz. Always
Yep.
enjoy talking basketball.
Yes, sir. All right, we are going to go ahead and address some of these comments that I hadn't got to yet. I apologize. From VIP members, we'll get them first. Bourbon Crazy's in the house. Thank you for joining the show. We've got Daniel Gigax here, WVU Fan 13. All right, let's go ahead and this is a football question. It says, or comment, this season has been rough, but we have to keep our heads up, stay positive, and give them a fair amount of time to get to right the ship. I agree, Bourbon Crazy. Great point. We better see improvement next year, though. We can't have another 2 or 3 win season in year 2. You better be bowl. In my opinion, they need to be bowl eligible next year. To me, that's a legit fix. If they're 5-7, but they're competitive, I might would excuse it. But man, you better be a much better football team than you are right now. In year 2, my opinion. Let me see who else we got in here. We got Bourbon's Crazy says, I think Rich will do great as long as he can get the money he needs to get and then keep the players they need. I just think it'll take 3 or 4 years to get there. WVU Fan 13 says, with 5 games left, the best thing is to live live in-game evaluations. He already admitted they missed on a lot of evaluations. Find the guys that you want to keep and start planning for next season. That's exactly where I'm at too, WVU Fan 13. I totally agree with you. You got to try to win the games, but you can do that while you're also evaluating guys. I mean, last week, I think I heard, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, that every player that dressed on defense played in some capacity. So you can you're able to evaluate them better. The monkey claw curse, says Daniel Gigax. We all hope for a backyard brawl win and now pay for it. Yeah. I had never heard it called that, man. I like that analogy. Make sure there are no VIP members I'm missing here. Thank you all for being on here tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to start doing a live show every Thursday night if I can. Sometimes my schedule just makes it tough. But I need to start doing a live show the same night every week to stay on a schedule. So you all will know when to come find me. Because I'm kind of all over the place with my schedule. Daniel Gigak says, with basketball, you just need 2 to 3 guys that are good to have a winning team. Football is very different. Absolutely, man. And I'm hoping we got that in basketball. At least I think we do on the offensive end. Josh made a great point. You know, they did give up 73 points in that scrimmage, but again, we don't know all the total format of that scrimmage. You know, they may not have been showing anything as far as their normal style of play, or even though it was closed door, maybe they were afraid something would get leaked. You know, who knows? It might have just been a backyard style or street ball style play, game. Who knows? But so I don't want to take too much out of it, but it is concerning. But they scored 95, so that's also a great thing, right? Maybe it'll be an offensive-minded team like Josh mentioned. Bourbon Crazy says, my only concern with next year is that we start or play a bunch of young players and it take them a couple years to learn and build. To me, Bourbon Crazy, we have two options. We can either do that or bring in a bunch more players from the portal again. And I think either way, next year is going to be a challenge. I don't think it'll be a struggle like this one, but I definitely think it'll be a challenge because you're either going to have what you're mentioning, the young team, or you're going to have another rebuilt team. And I prefer the young team. You know, one of the things I thought Neil Brown did correctly when he was at West Virginia is he and Matt Moore decided to build the offensive line long term with young guys. They decided we're going to play a lot of freshmen, we're going to play a lot of sophomores, we're going to play a lot of guys who haven't played a ton. But after but then they're going to do that for 2, 3, and then they're in their third or fourth year, they'll have a ton of snaps. And that's what happened in the offensive line at West Virginia. The last 2 to 3 years of Neil Brown's tenure was really good. Now they had some struggles early on, but by year 3 or 4 and 5, they were good, right? So Rich Rod chose to go a different route and try to bring in older guys who could try to play right away, but they weren't able to gel together. And obviously, I'm not even sure they were good enough to play at the Power 4 level. So I think he knows that now. And but it'll be interesting to see what he does going forward. Does he go the young route on the offensive line next year, or does he try to do a little bit of a blend? That's why I think it's important that they keep guys like Nick Cray and Landon Livingston in the fold so that you don't have to do a total rebuild again next year. And I think those guys are good enough to play at the Power 4 level. Are they elite? No. But again, those guys don't have a ton of experience either. They didn't get a lot of playing time under Neil Brown. So they're just now getting their first real taste of getting significant snaps. And they'll now have a 4 year under their belt. So next year they'll be experienced. Then you can, if Donovan Haslam stays around, you keep him, you keep Agbo, maybe Isosa stays. That could be your core group, right? That's what I'm hoping for. And yep, mix in experienced players, Bourbon Crazy, where you have holes to fill. Or if there's a guy out there, if there's a Will Greer type talent out there that you can go get, and I'm using him as an example because that's kind of what Dana did back in 2017. If there's somebody out there like that, you go get them. But otherwise, I think you try to build with your younger guys. You got to try to win, but you also have to try. It's a tough job, man. You got to try to win now and also build for the future. That's why those guys. That's why they make the money they make, right? It's if it was easy, any of us would be doing it. All right, I'm going to call it a night. I really appreciate all of you hopping on here tonight for somewhat of a last minute deal. Let me know if I do live shows on Thursday nights. Is that a good night for you all, or would you rather maybe do it on another night of the week? I'd like to get your feedback on that. But nonetheless, I want to give another shout out to our sponsors over at DraftKings Sportsbook, the sports betting partner of the NFL. I also want to shout out our other sponsor, Appalachia Digital, the folks who designed our website over at WV Sports Chat. They can design you a site if you have a small business or a blog or whatever that you want to have a website for. They can do it. If you already have a site, you want to get it found easier on Google, they can do that too. Go to AppalachiaDigital.com/Couz. Let them know Couz sent you, and they will take care of your website needs. Thank you for the super chat. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for the generosity. He says RR's conference record. Sorry. RR's conference record at WVU, Michigan, and Arizona, excluding the 3 years he had Pat White, is sub 500. Those years greatly exceed 3 years. Now, that's fair. I will say this, but also he's only had 4 losing seasons in his career, I believe. He had 1 at West Virginia, 2 at Michigan, and 1 at Arizona, I believe. Now this will be number 5, I guess. But he's been a head coach for what? 17, 18 years. He's been a head coach, maybe longer at this level. I'm not counting his days at Glenville State. That's fair. Aloha, everyone. I guess. Listen, we're going to find out in the next 1 to 2 years if Rich Rod is cut out for this or not. Right? I feel like I have felt like he is. Did I see this year coming? Not to this degree. I thought they'd be a 5 to 6 win football team. Didn't know we'd be and not that that's not still possible, but it might be like a 1 in 100,000 chance of happening, or 1 in a million maybe. But it is possible. But they're looking more like a 2 or 3 win football team, and I did not see that coming. I'll be honest. But he obviously missed on some guys in the portal. Maybe it was money. I think we'll find out. Supposedly, Rich Rod's got the backing of a lot of the big donors. Ren talks about all the moves they're making to improve revenue at the school, at the department. If all of that's true, then he should have the money to go out and get more players and be better in 2026. But the time will tell whether that's the case, and retain the players he wants to retain on this roster. If there are any, how many are good enough to retain, I don't know. I'll let him be the judge of that. I actually plan on doing a video about that at some point. But the proof will be in the pudding. And either I will be right or folks like yourself will be right who didn't want him coming back. And I'm assuming you fall in that category. The injuries have been brutal. Aloha, everyone says. They would have more wins if there weren't so many injuries. I think so. Luke Armacost, thank you for joining, brother. He's a VIP member. Says, still rooting for the boys, but boy, we need a little help. You got that right. Someone, and I'll say this and then I'll go for the night, but someone on Twitter compared it. If you took, I think it was Denny Allen, who's a VIP member here. He said, if you take that 2017 and you take Pat White and Jarrett Brown off for injury, you take Noel Devine and Steve Slayton off for injury, and you take, I think he said Darrell Jala, which was their number 2 receiver, off due to injury. That's basically now none of the players. Nico Marchiol is not Pat White. Jalen Henderson is not Jarrett Brown. I get all that. I'm not saying they're equal talent-wise. But his point was, if you take your top guys off the roster, that team would not have been near as good. Now, the offense, they probably would have been better than this team because they had a better O-line, but they wouldn't have went out and been in the conversation for a national title game. Now, add to the injuries, it's compounded by the struggles on the O-line. That makes it even worse. So anyway, Tomorrowland Traveler, thank you so much for the generosity. I think Tomorrowland Traveler is new to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for your much too kind generosity. Actually, I owe Aloha, everyone. I owe you one of these as well. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for the super chat earlier as well. It's awesome. Appreciate the generosity. I'm going to call it a night. Thanks to everyone for hopping on here. It's been a fun show. Enjoyed doing it. Hope you all enjoyed it as well. Thank you for spending your night with me. God bless you, and Q Country Roads.